welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Thanks for watching. My name is Emily and my channel is typically geared towards my beadwork. I own a company, it's called Big Bend Beadwork, and we make like Western beaded belts, caps, gun slings, guitar straps, dog collars, etc. So I've been doing a lot of that. However, I'm also going to start incorporating some what's for dinners and some like mom vlogging and things like that. So if you are here to watch beadwork, there's not going to be any in this video. It's just going to be kind of what I've made for dinner this week. But I do have some more bead projects coming up. There's one right behind you. I'm working on a belt where I am going to be adding thread in, and I'm just going to take you through the process of that. I also figured out how to zoom in, so you guys will be pleased about that. I also learned how to use my tripod this week, so I won't be so shaky. Anyway, so this is my first what's for dinner. I didn't really do anything fancy this week. I love to cook. This doesn't really demonstrate my cooking abilities because I used an Instant Pot twice and then made like chicken the other time, and then like a prepackaged ham. But anyway, so we did 4 meals this week. It is New Year's week that just passed, so we did go out to dinner a couple times, which is why there's only 4 meals, 4 dinners instead of typically like 6 or 7 that I would want to put up. But I eat low carb most of the time. My family does not, so there's some variations in here that you can eat low carb or not. You don't have to be on keto or do low carb to watch this. So anyway, I ended up doing 4 meals. They were all really delicious. I got an Instant Pot for Christmas, so this week was my very first week using it, and I was pleasantly surprised, also very skeptical. I'm a slow cooker gal. I've got a Pioneer Woman crock pot that I've been using for years, and I've always just stuck big hunks of meat in it and slow cooked them for hours and hours and hours, and they turn out really tender and juicy. And it just kind of blew my mind that I was going to be able to put a big hunk of meat in an Instant Pot and it be tender in an hour. That just didn't make sense to me, but it worked out really, really well, and we enjoyed this week's meals. So I'm not going to review all of them, but they were all really good. I didn't video the first one, but I show you how we use the leftovers from the Instant Pot. And that was probably my favorite meal of the week. It was the Instant Pot jalapeno popper shredded chicken, and it was divine. I just had mine in a plain bowl. My husband had his on a hamburger bun and then a sweet potato for dinner the next night, and it was divine. I will link that. But I do show you how I cook the sweet potatoes in the Instant Pot, and I did that recipe in the Instant Pot. And then I do a New Year's Day meal with ham, cabbage, which we love, black eyed peas, and cornbread, which also really simple. I did not do anything fancy there at all. I used canned black eyed peas. When I told my mom that, she said, "Shame on you, girl." So I normally would soak my beans overnight and then cook them like that, but I've got 2 little girls and I just didn't have time for that on New Year's Day. What else did we cook? Oh, we did the Instant Pot pot roast, which was really good with carrots and potatoes. So I made that low carb by just not eating the potatoes. I just had meat and carrots. And then the last night I just did we had a bag of chicken leg quarters in our freezer that I needed to use. So I just rubbed some olive oil on those and then seasoned them up really well with some chicken seasoning that we had. I popped them in the oven, high degree. We really like crispy chicken skin. And then I did like some fancy green beans on the side with bacon, onion, and then what are the flat green beans called? You'll see in a minute when I put it on the video. All right, well, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Please stick around. My channel is just starting. We're gonna do some cool things, beadwork, lots of food coming at you. We live on a ranch in Texas, so I'm sure I'll be taking you all over that. My husband's like the real deal cowboy of the West. He's actually from West Texas. We no longer live in West Texas. And then I've got 2 little girls, a 4-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. So things get kind of wild and crazy around here. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. For this one, we are gonna be using our Instant Pot to make some sweet potatoes. I have them washed and I've poked holes all over them. So the little booklet that came with my Instant Pot says to put in a cup of water. So I've got a cup of water here. Pour it straight into my Instant Pot. And then it says to place the trivet in there. This is my first time cooking with the trivet. Actually, this is only my second time ever using my Instant Pot. I made some, what is it called? Jalapeno popper shredded chicken, I believe is what it's called, last night. I will link the recipe for that below, and that's what I'm going to be stuffing these sweet potatoes with for dinner tonight. I'm using the leftovers. All about that. I love utilizing leftovers. So I'm going to place them on my trivet, and then I'm going to put my lid on. Wow, that was really hard for me last night, but it was easy today. I'm going to make sure this is set to sealing. Okay, so that's set to sealing. And then I'm going to, what did it say, 30 minutes. So I'm going to pressure cook for 30 minutes. Like I said, this is only my second time using this, so I think that's all you do is set it to 30 minutes and then it just goes by itself. So awesome. This is the Pioneer Woman Instant Pot. My husband and my 2 daughters got this for me for Christmas, and I'm so excited to use it. My first meal turned out amazing, so now I'm going to use it for everything. I'm really more of a slow cooker person, but I guess I'm now an Instant Pot kind of gal. So anyway, I'll check back in with y'all in 30 minutes. All right, so the timer just went off on this. It cooked on high pressure for 30 minutes, and then the little pamphlet thing says to let it natural release for 10 minutes and then do the quick release. So we're gonna let it go to 10 minutes. All right, so it's been 10 minutes, 11 minutes, and I'm gonna do the pressure release. And this scared me last night, so I'm gonna use a utensil to do it. Let's see. And there's our steam and all of our pressure. Okay. Almost finished. There's still a little steam coming out. All right, and I'm gonna pop this off and whoop, steamed you guys out there, sorry. And let's see. Shh, please be quiet, baby. Ooh, they're soft.
Pretty soft.
All right, and here's the finished product. I think it's gonna be delicious. So I did a sweet potato, put butter and sour cream on it, and then topped it with the jalapeno popper shredded chicken that I made in my Instant Pot last night, and then topped it with a little bit of cheese. And that's what's for dinner tonight. All right, for dinner tonight, I'm gonna try a pot roast in the Instant Pot, which terrifies me, but we're gonna try it. So I've got my Instant Pot set to saute. I put in 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and I'm gonna sear my pot roast. This is a pretty big one. It's a 3 pound. Oh, and it fits down in there. That's great. So I'm just gonna let this sear for like 3-ish minutes on each side. Woo! Okay, so I have removed my roast from the Instant Pot. It's nice and sauteed. Sorry, the lighting is weird. And it is hot, hot, hot in there. I turned it off. That was kind of scaring me how much it was popping. So next I'm going to add my beef broth. I'm supposed to add 4 cups. And this is, what, 32 ounces? Yep, which is 4 cups. I'm going to add this whole thing. I'm using the H-E-B brand beef broth. The recipe says to use beef stock. I think those are the same thing. If not, I'm sure it'll be fine. And I'm gonna go ahead and add my seasonings in right now too. So I'm just gonna liberally sprinkle some salt. We really like this Montreal steak seasoning, which I think will also tenderize the meat a little bit. Oh, that one's not open. Okay, we're back. She's open now. So I'm gonna add a little bit to this broth, but then I'm also going to season my roast with it liberally. We love this stuff. Okie dokie. And then I'm also gonna add a little bit of Worcestershire is how I say it. You can say it however you would like. I'm sure that you say it different than I do. Okay. And then I'm gonna add a little bit to this too, just because I'm a slow cooker gal and this is what I always do. So I'm really nervous about this. Okay, so I'm gonna stir all this up and then I'm gonna add this back in. Now, real quick before I add it back in, I was advised to scrape the bottom of this so you don't get a burn notice, because there are some pieces from where I seared the roast that are kind of stuck to the bottom all the bits. So I'm going to get all that off the bottom and just make sure this is mixed up really well before I add my meat back in. I've got my roast added back in. It is covered in that beef broth, so I think that's okay. The recipe that I'm using says for every pound of meat to cook on high pressure for 20 minutes. So I'm going to do it. I should do it for an hour, but I'm gonna do it for 40 minutes, and then I'm gonna add in my carrots and potatoes and do it for another 20. So I'm gonna put my lid on, maybe. I struggle with this. Okay, I'm gonna make sure this is set to sealing, which it was not. Good thing I checked. And then I'm gonna come down here, and what do? Hit pressure cook for 40 minutes. And then I'm gonna let that cook. I'm gonna let it natural release for 10 minutes. Then I'm gonna add in my carrots and potatoes and then let it cook on high pressure for another 20 minutes. And we'll see what happens. Just to recap, we seared it and then we cooked it on high pressure for 40 minutes, and then my husband had to step in. I went and gave my daughter a horse riding lesson, so he was here for that, and he called me to see what to do, but he successfully did it, I believe, and he added the carrots, potatoes, and an onion, and I chopped them pretty big. I wasn't really sure. I've read a lot of articles saying that they would turn to mush if you chopped them too small in an Instant Pot. So anyway, so he added those and then he closed it and cooked it for 20 more minutes on high pressure. And we just did the pressure release, and we're gonna open it up and see how it looks. potatoes are definitely done. They're very tender. The carrots are super tender. The onions look like they're cooked perfectly. I really want to see what our meat is doing. Oh wow, it seems to be pretty tender. Alright, well I'm going to shred this up and let it kind of sit in there for a little bit, and I'll check back in with y'all. So for dinner tonight, we are doing chicken leg quarters. This is a really simple recipe. I've got these, this is usually my bacon pan, but I thought that it would work nicely because it can drain some of the grease and fat off of these as they cook so they can crisp up. So I did spray it first, and then I'm gonna spray these down pretty liberally with this olive oil spray. This is the H-E-B brand. Okay, and then we really like the McCormick seasonings, so I'm going to use this Montreal chicken and sprinkle kind of all over. And we typically only do this to our chicken. However, we had some of this too, this roasted garlic and herb, so I'm just going to sprinkle a little bitty bit of this on each of these as well. Just to see what it does. I think it'll combine nicely. All right, so those look really good. And I'm gonna pop these in a 375-degree oven and just check them periodically until they're through, and I will let you guys know about how long they cook.